Hey, Chef Ro here. Today I'm going to talk to you about scoring duck breasts. Now, a lot of people are really scared to cook duck breast at home. They think that it's really scary or hard, or it's really not that hard. But don't tell anybody I told you. Chefs want you to believe it's really hard so that you'll come pay them lots of money to do it. Which, if you want to do that, hey, I'm available. Anyway, one key component to ducks, and what you'll see a lot with the duck breast, is the scoring. Okay, if you've ever noticed, most of the time when you receive duck in a restaurant, the skin is either cut into a diamond pattern or at least little slits down the top of the duck where the fat is. That is to let fat out. Okay, ducks are super fatty. They have to be to keep warm, right? So they're super fatty, and we need to let that fat melt out in order for that skin to get crispy. It's kind of the concept of bacon, right? Two kinds of bacon eaters, chewy bacon and crispy bacon. Not my fault, chewy bacon people are wrong, right? Same thing with duck skin. Only there really is only crispy duck skin. Like, there is no one who likes chewy duck fat on purpose. It's just not very palatable. So what we have to do is we have to cook it slowly to get that fat to melt out. And the reason that people score it is so that more of that fat is exposed and has the ability to come out in more places than just around the edges. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to do it. Works every time. You can see here that I have two duck breasts, and I'm going to do them a little bit differently, but it's the same concept, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to need a very sharp knife, okay? Knife has to be sharp because you need to be able to cut through the skin quite easily, but you don't want to cut the meat, only the fat, okay? And most people will go in a diagonal pattern, and you can see, look how thick that fat is. You need to be able to let that all melt out. But if you notice, I did not cut into the flesh of the bird, okay? So I'm going to go all the way down, okay? And notice I'm cutting to the meat, but not into the meat, okay? You want to cut all the way down. Now, some people will leave it just like that, and that's perfectly acceptable, okay? Because you're still going to expose a lot more fat than you would leaving it whole. However, most people, you will find, are going to go one step further. And, there's people who believe certain widths between the thing, like there's very firm schools of belief on you must have exactly 1 inch wide pieces, or you must have exactly 1/4 inch wide pieces. It all kind of comes down to personal preference, okay? So I now have these both cut the same way. But what you'll find most often is that after the one direction is done, most chefs are going to come back and go the other direction as well. Because now if you see, look at all those places that the fat can come out from underneath the skin, and the more fat that comes out, the less chewy it will be and the crispier it'll be. And that is what we want. Most chefs will tell you, and I subscribe fully to this theory, that you always put duck in a cold pan. And I mean, I'm not talking you'll go put it in the refrigerator, right? I'm just talking you have not heated up the pan. On almost every other food in the world, it goes heat the pan, then fat, then food. Not duck, okay? Duck and bacon and anything you're trying to render fat out of, which means melt the fat out, you always start it in a cold pan, okay? So you put it in the pan, and with duck, you saw how much fat is in there. You don't need any fat. Any recipe that tells you to put oil down before you put duck skin down, I don't know, they want you to deep fry it or something? I don't know. So you put the duck skin down, cold pan, and then you turn on the heat. And in fact, most chefs, or some chefs at least, will have you pour off the fat as it comes out so that it doesn't deep fry all the way up the sides of the duck, because there's going to be a lot of fat that comes out, especially if you're in a non-stick pan, okay? Hopefully you now understand why there's that funky pattern on top of duck skin when you get it at a restaurant, and hopefully you'll see it's not that hard to do yourself at home.